Hello, this is Jay Williams with the Wealthy Thoughts Podcast. Hey, I gotta apologize because I'm running a little late. I'm actually traveling right now. So if you hear some sounds in the background, that's what that's about. So I just want to apologize up front. That's what the delay was about. But we're gonna just keep on pressing on and moving on and doing this thing the way we do it here. Okay, we're not gonna stop. It's Thursday. It got to be Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because that is time for the Wealthy Thoughts Podcast, and we are here to do our thing, regardless, y'all. We are here to do our thing. So, if this is your first time tuning in on the Wealthy Podcast, I'd like to say hello to you. Thanks for stopping in, and hopefully you'll be back. I want to hop right into this topic because we have a lot to cover today. As y'all know, I am a business discipline consultant, and my main objective is to help you monetize what's in your mind. Okay, help you monetize what's in your mind. So, and it doesn't always have to be your thoughts, your ideas, your concepts, right? We leverage your mind, but we also leverage OPK, other people's knowledge, okay? And so I'm going to show you how you can monetize some of this information and make money with it and turn that knowledge into cash today, all right? So I'm all about the OPK and your knowledge as well. And honestly, it's not really all that hard at all. Once you know how to do it, then you're in it. Okay. All right. So first income stream I wanted to talk about how to get into. And I wanted to really touch on this because this is an industry that I am currently in right now. I am doing this, so I can talk about it. What we're talking about is trucking. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you how to get into the $1 billion, that's billion with a B, trucking industry without owning a truck. And we do that by becoming a trucking dispatcher. Yep. So what exactly does that mean? That means we dispatch our carriers to various different locations all over these United States of America and sometimes Canada. All right. So it's relatively easy on how to get started. You don't need a lot of equipment or anything fancy. What you need, you already have. Most of us already have, which is a computer or a laptop. That's the first thing. You'll also need a cell phone. And again, most of us have that as well. In addition, you'll need load board software. So you'll need a subscription to either DAT Trucker's Edge. I believe they're about $149 or $139 a month for that subscription. There's other ones. There's 123 load board. They're a little cheaper, about $49 a month. There's several load boards out there, and you can check them out. But DAT is a big one. That's DAT. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying DAT. DAT Trucker's Edge. That's a very, very, very common one. A lot of people are familiar with that, and they have a lot of features. And that's another thing. You know, some of these load boards have fine features where you can actually find the trucks, you can find where the drivers are, and all that good stuff. And that will help you as well. That's a resource. So we'll get into that. But I'm going to break down the main components on a day in the life on how to book a load for your carrier. Okay. So first of all, you need a trucker or carrier. Remember, when I use these words, I'm using them interchangeably. So they mean the same thing. Trucker, carrier, same thing. when I say load or freight, they mean the same thing. That's what the trucker is picking up. But we call them carriers more than often. We say carriers, not truckers. So but I know a lot of people are familiar with truckers, the term trucker. Okay, but moving forward, I'm using the word carrier and using the word load. Okay, so when you're on the load, you need to get your carrier. Okay, so how do you get your carrier? You can put an ad on Indeed. You can literally go to a truck stop. You can ask friends and family. Because look, here's the thing that I've noticed in the industry. Everyone knows a carrier. Everyone knows somebody that drives a truck or owns a truck or has a trucking business. Everyone's connected. So just tell people what you're doing, and you'll be surprised at the amount of people like, oh, yeah, I know a trucker. Oh, I know a few truckers. He has a truck or two. And then you're right in there. Okay. So you have your trucker. Now you're like, well, how much is it going to cost me? Or how much should I charge to book these loads? Okay. That's a great question. You can go as high. Well, I'll tell you what I do, because some people go higher. I charge 10% for the total amount of freight that I book for my carriers. Okay. But you can do 8%. You can, if you're relatively new, I've seen some people start out with 5% because they were a little unsure of, what they were doing. And I understand that. But, personally, I wouldn't go that low, but you can, is what I'm saying. You can. All right. So let's just keep it at, say, 10% for the example. All right. So now you have your carrier under contract. Make sure you have them under contract first. Do not book any loads for them unless you have a signed contract with that carrier. It is illegal to book any freight if you do not have a carrier under contract. Why is that? Because you're not a freight broker. You are a dispatcher, and there's a difference. All right. So what that means is you have to have that signed contract. Okay. Because you are working on behalf of the carrier. Okay. Not on behalf of yourself. So you can't present these loads like you're a freight broker. A freight broker is the people that we're going to call when we're looking for loads for our carrier. Okay. So it goes carrier. So it goes freight broker, dispatcher, the person in the middle. That's what you're doing. Then it goes to the carrier. Okay. So that's how it goes in this equation. So you can't act like a freight broker when you're not. All right. Very important. All right. Next up, you have your carrier. You have your load boys ready to rock and roll. So now you can look for some freight. All right. So let me give you an example of a freight. So let's say your carrier, and I'm not going through every single part of this because it's going to take way too long. But in the beginning, you're going to know where your carrier wants to go. You're going to know what area they do not want to go. You're going to know what they want to pull. Of course, you're going to know the equipment. So you're going to know if they're a flatbed, they're a reefer, things like that. Okay. Flatbed, reefer, they're a dry van. You have to know how much they want to pull. Okay. So when that freight is in their trailer, how much do they want? Do they want it a full trailer, or they only want partials? Everyone wants a full load, a full trailer, because it really doesn't make sense. Now, sometimes there will be loads that are partial, and they'll have to make more than one pickup. So they'll pick up one load, it'll fill up half the trailer, then they'll go to another location and pick up another load, and then that's going to fill the rest of the trailer. Again, personal preference for me, I don't like all that. I send my carriers one pickup, one drop. Just makes it easier, because if anything happens in anything happens with that first pickup, for example, say they're picking up that first half at 11 a.m. So usually they give you about a 2-hour window when they're loading up the trucks. Now, this is a partial load. It shouldn't take 2 hours, but again, you have to think variables. So the variables might be, there may be 5 or 6 trailers before your guy gets loaded up. So just because he has that half a trailer, he might still have to wait. So within that time, that can push him from that 11 a.m. pickup to now they don't finish loading him until after, say, 2. And this has happened. So the second pickup is supposed to be at 2:30, but it's an hour and a half away. You're not going to make that pickup. So you see how everything has to be in sync. So that's why I don't like those partial loads. It just doesn't work for me. I just do one pickup, one drop. Just makes life easier. Okay, so you go on the load boards, and this is an example. Say you have a carrier leaving from Maryland, going to Tampa, Florida. Leaving from Baltimore, Maryland, going to Tampa, Florida. Okay, and this is just an example, guys. So the rate is $3,000. Okay. So what you as a dispatcher would then do is call the freight broker and negotiate the load for a higher rate. You're always negotiating more money for not only your carrier, but you. Okay. So if it's $3,000, ask them for $3,500. All right. They never agree to what you're asking for. They're going to always meet you somewhere in the middle. So they may say, nah, I can't do 3,500, but I can do 32 or 3,300. So your next stop is to contact your carrier and see if they will actually take that load for the 3,300 that you just negotiated. Now remember, you have got it up from 3,000, which is listed on the load board, to 3,300. Please keep that in mind. So let's say your carrier agrees to it. That sounds good. All right, perfect. He gives it the thumbs up. So next up is to call back the freight broker and say, I'm good for the 3,300. Send me the rate con. So the rate con or the rate confirmation is a document that they're going to email you. So what you do then is electronically send that to your carrier. They have many softwares that you can do it with. That's something else that you're put that on your needs list. You need something to send digital files to. There's PDF filler. There's a whole bunch of them out there. Okay, so you send that to your carrier. He signs it, sends it back to you, and then you send it to the freight broker. Okay, so now you're in business. That signature verifies that that carrier has agreed to take ownership of that load and to drop that load from Baltimore, Maryland to Tampa, Florida. Okay, so now they are responsible for that load. All right, so then now you just have to check in with your carrier. Make sure they're heading toward that way. I usually check in midway, see if they need anything. And then once they actually reach the destination, what they do is, of course, they pick it up, they reach a destination, they get unloaded. By that time, you should already be knowing what time they made it to Tampa. So you need to be looking for a load to get them from Tampa to wherever they want to go. And again, that comes into play when you figure out what areas they want, what areas they don't want. So they're in Tampa, find something in Tampa or close to Tampa. A lot of times it's not going to be right in the city that they drop. They need to drive to the next destination. And then driving to the next destination is called Deadhead Miles. So say it's from Tampa to Jacksonville, and I'm just using this as an example. It's probably not this amount of miles, but say it's 70 miles, and that's their next stop. Say they're going to Jacksonville. So then they have to drive the 70 miles to Jacksonville to pick up the next load, and say now they're going to Tennessee. Okay, so you have to add in those deadhead miles when you're negotiating with that freight broker, because that's gas. Okay, that's fuel that they're going to be burning. Okay, so all of those things, all of those little things come into play. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but guys, this dispatching thing is gold. So if you're looking for something to do at home that is really not that hard to learn, that you are your own boss, that you can grow and flourish into something big, this dispatching thing could be your calling card. Again, you can look on YouTube. There's many people teaching, and there's actually people teaching live dispatching right there on YouTube. I personally would recommend Mr. Calvin Butler from RBBS. He's great. I've worked with him. I know him myself. Great teacher, very knowledgeable. He knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. You can always contact me as well. If you have any questions, I have no problem pointing you in the right direction or answering a few questions. All right, so that's one thing. Told you I'm going to give you a few. So that's one, truck and dispatch. So the second one I want to talk about real quick is vending machine business. But check it. I'm not talking about you owning the vending machines and filling and collecting the money. That's cool. And actually, I know people who have vending machine businesses and they're killing it in the space. Do you hear me? They're killing it. But that's not what I'm talking about. I think a little different. So what about if you became a vending machine finder, right? So what you do is you scout out the location scouter, I guess is the better word. I said finder. Yeah. So a location scouter. Now, how dope is this? What you do is I would start in my local area first. I would find 20 to 30 different places and just simply ask them, hey, what's the procedure, or who do I need to talk to if I was interested in putting a vending machine in your facility? Okay. And they give you the contact number and you contact the person. You say, hey, if I had a soda machine, a snack machine, or if I had a health food machine, or if I had a water machine, whatever the vending machine needs to be. If I had this, what's the procedure? Or would you be interested? Yay or nay? That's all they have to say, yay or nay. So now what you do is you run a local ad. You can run a local Facebook ad in your area and then brand yourself as a vending machine location scout. Check this out. Do that in your local space, but then you expand. Yeah, we got 50 other states we're working with here. 49 other states you're working with. Okay, and DC. Taxation without representation. So what I would do is get 5 friends in 5 different states. Tell them do the same thing. Hey, go to these spots and tell them where to go. Clinics, hospitals, gyms. It doesn't have to be national gyms. There's little small gyms out there. Go to gyms. Okay. Laundromats, auto mechanic shops, etc., etc. Do the same thing. All they have to do is ask one question. Hey, who would I speak to? Or who do I need to speak to? Or who is the contact if I'm interested in possibly putting a vending machine in the facility? They're going to point you in the right direction. So you have 5 of the people, 5 of your folks in 5 different states, wherever, Georgia, Texas, Florida, California, wherever. Call the people up. Rinse and repeat. Then you put your Facebook ads and you geo-target it in that area and those states. Same thing. Hey, I am a vending machine location specialist. Call me. I have locations available. So once you talk to, these people in these facilities and they give you the okay to like, oh yeah, that's something I would explore. Drop your ads in there and say, hey, I got people waiting, ready for your vending machines. And then charge them whatever you want. $250, $300, $500, $1,000, whatever. Just for the location, guys. Just for the location. You have nothing to do with if they talk to the people and it works or it doesn't work. Hey, what you said is true. This is something you have the contact, name, and location of a place who is ready for a vending machine. If you want that information, this is what it's going to cost you. The rest is up to them. All you're doing is scouting a location. Okay. And I would also get in writing from the person in the facility that they are willing to do it. So, there's no blowback like, hey, you said this person was interested and we couldn't come up with a deal. Hey, they were interested. Your deal has nothing to do with me locating a spot at all. I'm telling you, man. These are easy ones. These are easy ones. I have hundreds more. It's so easy to make money out here, guys, but you got to put in the work. Once you put in the work, anything is possible. Okay. Again, thank you for rocking with me today. Once again, I am Jay Williams, your business discipline consultant. Thank you for showing me love here on Wealthy Thoughts Podcast. We will see you next week, and you will see me next week. Again, I'm traveling right now. Hopefully it wasn't too much noise behind me, but I did just want to drop this quick episode, a little sauce for you, a couple of gems that you may or may not have known about, 2 different industries that you can explore and get in today. You can check this out today and get rocking and rolling. Okay. So I'm out of here. Thank you. once again important. I see you at the top because the bottom is way too crowded. All right, y'all. That's it. I'm out. Peace.